Oh, where is Laurie? He's supposed to be doing Trinity Kids and I can't find him anywhere. He's nowhere in the house. The kids don't know where he is. Maybe he's gone biking. I'll go and see in the shed if the bike is there. Oh dear, it's a mess here. Right. Oh. This is very unusual.
Hello. You find me sat by the edge of a lake. I looked up then because I thought there might be something in my net, but I've not caught anything yet. I'm just sitting here waiting for the fish to bite or to creep into my net slowly and get stuck. There's not really much to do other than wait. And so while I was sitting here, I was thinking of what Johnny was telling us last week. Can you remember? There was 2 parables that he talked about. I hope you can remember what a parable is. I'm just trying to make sure I can remember. But a parable, I'll remind you now, is a story that Jesus told to explain something about the kingdom of heaven, and it was a picture story that helped people understand a little bit more. Hopefully that's a good way of explaining it. Anyway, they were very exciting stories, weren't they? It was the parable of the pearl, and it was the parable of the hidden treasure. I don't think I'm going to find any hidden treasure here in the pond. But what I'm hoping I will do is get some fish. As I said, I've got my net ready and I'm waiting for some fish to come along and get stuck in it. There's not really that much to do though, to be honest here. So while I'm waiting, I thought I'd tell you about another parable. And this week's story is actually the parable of the net.
The parable of the net says that the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was let down into a lake and caught all kinds of fish. When it was full, the fishermen pulled the net up onto the shore. Then they collected the good fish into baskets and they threw the bad ones away. This is how it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come and will separate the wicked from the righteous and throw them into the furnace where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Well, I'm still here. I haven't really caught much yet. Shall I show you? Yeah, there you go. I brought those ones with me as well. I haven't caught any fish fingers yet. I'm still hoping. Anyway, I guess the next thing I need to do is sort out the fish. Sort out the good ones from the bad. Because that's what happened in the story, wasn't it? The good fish get separated from the bad fish. And the bad fish get thrown away in the fire. Now I'm sure if you're having fish and chips or fish and something for tea, your parents do the sorting out of the good fish and the bad fish before they give it to you. They're not going to give you stinky old fish that are rotten or floating in the pond. Yeah, that's not what they do, is it? They'd give you nice tasty fish, hopefully cooked as well. So we probably have standards, don't we? We want fish to be good. But if we're not talking about splitting out good and bad fish, and we're talking about in the future, when the good people and the bad people will be separated by God, what do you think God will do or use to have as the standards to separate the good and the bad? What makes a person good and what makes a person bad? Have a think about that for a minute. welcome back to the lakeside. Don't worry, I'm still here, and I still haven't caught any fish. None have got stuck in the net just yet. Anyway, I asked you to talk about what makes a person good. I don't know what you talked about, so I thought I'd try and come up with some things as well. Do you think it's if a person always gets good marks at school? Okay. What about always having a tidy bedroom? Does that make a person good? No, probably not. What about having all the best clothes? If a person has all the best clothes, does that make them a good person inside? Yeah, probably not either. There are lots of things that may on the outside look like it makes a person good, but when God looks at someone to see if they are good or bad, he doesn't look at the outside. God looks at the person's heart. And our hearts tell us about what we are, don't they? They tell us what we focus on and what we treasure the most, what's the most important things for us. Johnny was telling us last week that the most important thing for God, the most important treasure is us. We are his treasure. And when God looks at us, he does see bad people because he sees that we treasure things other than him. He's not always the most important thing. But there was one person who did always have God at the centre and loved him and was perfect, and that was Jesus. And if we say sorry to God for the wrong things that we've done, and we trust in Jesus, then when God looks at our hearts, he doesn't see the bad that we've done, he sees the good that Jesus did. Isn't that great? How about we do a song now? The song that we're going to do is about the treasure of our hearts, and it's quite fruity.
Apples don't grow on pear trees. Apples don't grow on pear trees. Apples don't grow on pear trees. No apples there, it only grows pears. Bananas don't grow on plum trees. Bananas don't grow on plum trees. Bananas don't grow on plum trees. No nanas come, they only grow plums. Your heart is where the words of your mouth grow. Your mouth is where the thoughts of your heart go. Jesus, change our hearts to bear good fruit.
Suppose I glue an apple on a pear tree.
No, 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 no.
Suppose I tape an orange on an oak tree.
No, 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 no.
Suppose I staple some cherries on a maple.
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Your heart is where the words of your mouth grow. Your mouth is where the thoughts of your heart go. Jesus, change our hearts to bear good fruit. Apples don't grow on pear trees. Apples don't grow on pear trees. Apples don't grow on pear trees. No apples there, it only grows pears. Your heart is where the words of your mouth grow. Your mouth is where the thoughts of your heart go. Jesus, change our hearts to bear good fruit. Jesus, change our hearts to bear good fruit.
So we need Jesus to make us right with God. He can do that. He can make us look good to God. And so when God separates out the bad and the good, he will put us in the good pile. Hello, it's me again. Can you tell it's a bit dark now? Yeah. The sun's going down and I'm on the way back home from my last fishing trip. I hope you enjoyed today's video and hopefully you learnt a little bit more about the parable of the net. Now, I don't know if you noticed earlier, but actually I hid some fish on the bookshelves behind me. I was thinking maybe that's a game you could play at home with your parents. You should probably check with them first, but what you can do is get some fish, probably not some live ones, but some fish cut out on bits of paper, and then hide them when they're out of the room, and then they have to find them. Don't make it too easy for them, but probably not make it too hard. Anyway, I've got to go. Aliona will be saying to me, "What are you doing out so late?" Oh, yeah. Bye.